Another day back on the bus, and we are continuing with the flooring, and you'll all be very happy to know that we have started the day by organising ourselves properly, and I'll show you what that means. It means that we've taken out all of the materials that we didn't need. They're outside the bus. We're going to be working in this area. We've put all the remaining floorboards back down so we don't fall through the floor, but this time we've marked each floorboard with its position and which is the top side, which we probably should have done ages ago, but done now, and now it makes our lives easier. So the aim of today is to attempt to get all the buffalo board bits cut, all the supporting plywood beams cut for the whole floor. When I talk about little plywood supports, I'm talking about these little spaces that we're putting in the bottom of the C-beams to support the buffalo boards and ensure that they sit level. This is a bit like a puzzle, fitting all the different pieces in to make everything straight and level and to sit nicely and have proper areas to fix everything. Good morning and welcome to Sunday morning. It is a beautiful day, bright and early-ish, and we are back on the bus working on the floor, and let me show you inside. We are focusing on these front two bays this morning, and I think this might be the third time I've said we're actually going to screw the buffalo boards down, but I think we're actually going to do that today. It's just taken a little bit of time to just ensure that the plan that we're making is the right plan, that we're doing it in the right way, that all the materials are properly prepared, and also that we're, you know, using and cutting our boards in the right way so that we're getting the most out of them, so we're not wasting stuff and we're not making mistakes. So by the end of our little work session today, we fully expect to have these two bays with their buffalo boards completely screwed and glued down, which is pretty damn exciting, and we may even end up cutting the rest of the buffalo boards for the rest of the bays. So yeah, big day today. Unofficial mascot for the day. You're so beautiful. You are. Here you can see we've measured and cut support beams that run perpendicular to the C-beams. These supports rest on and will be screwed into the chassis. Okay, that's the first puzzle piece for Bay 1 done. All four pieces supported on the cross beams and the chassis. And we're pretty happy with all those cuts, and they fit snugly. Look at this, only one little jigsaw piece left to go, and then all the boards are cut and they fit beautifully.
Fucking amazing.
Look at this. Here we go. Woohoo! so close, you just have to take a tiny little bit off the end. Just that little corner there. Very exciting. The side panel for the diesel heater is off and this is it. And we are very, very excited because it is, I don't know if that works, if you can see that. It is an Eberspacher, which is apparently, I'm very reliably informed, one of the best diesel heaters that you can even get. So we now just need to figure out why we can't make it work, but this is very exciting.
So there's power into it.
That's very helpful to know. We've got the absolute A-team on hand today. Simon looking at the diesel heater and Jerry looking at the buffalo boards. I am so spoiled right now.
Heating is that one down that end. So there's power going into the pump, but the pump with the power going in, you should be able to hear. That's what this little bit is.
Yeah, you should be able to hear it.
You should be able to hear it turning.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and get the pump off.
Yeah.
And if I can get in, there's a kind of socket at the back here.
Yeah.
And if I can get into that, I can do a resistance reading on it and just see if it is actually got anything in there, or if it's just. I mean, it might just be seized up.
Yeah, probably.
Might just be able to get it apart.
Yeah.
And then completely just clean it out. That's right.
I am pretty knackered. My hair is everywhere. This is what it looks like when it's been a bit windy today, and just finished a good sort of 3-4 hour session in the bus. I had Jerry here today and Simon. I didn't really film very much as we were doing things, just because we were all working on different things and running around, and it wasn't really very easy to film. So I thought I would just give you a bit of a recap of where we are this week and what's happened. I feel like what I filmed this week is all a bit bitty, so I'm sure I'll cut it together in some way that is hopefully semi-enjoyable to watch. But let me actually take you through what we've been doing. So the main thing Jerry and I have been working on is these buffalo boards that are sort of the lowest part of the floor that we're installing. And it's taken us just a lot, and I'd say us, I think us is being generous. I'd say Jerry has put a lot of thought and effort into really figuring out how we're going to do this so that it is solid and it is even and level and it fits beautifully, and where we're fixing to is the right place. So I just don't think I could have come up with all of that if I was doing it myself. I just, do not have that experience. So that's why this week has been a lot of, I don't know, sitting, like staring, looking, measuring 50 million times, because we only have 4 buffalo boards and we want to make sure we can actually get all the pieces that we need out of them. I don't really want to have to go and buy another one. We think we're okay, but we've just taken our time to measure and decide how we're cutting the boards to make sure it all fits. And it's been a bit like a jigsaw puzzle in that we can't just do one straight run of board at some time. Every little bay is different, and we're trying to make sure that they're evenly rested on the chassis, that we have areas to secure them into. So that's just taken a lot of thought and actually a lot of different cuts. So as I think you either have seen already or will see, depending on the order that I put the video together in, you'll see how we've had to do lots of different cuts in the board so that they fit together a bit like a puzzle. But it is, what day is it today? Tuesday? I don't know what day it is anymore. So we've basically been doing this for about 3 days, and we've got about 3 pieces left to do, and they're all sort of little pieces. So we're really, really happy with how it's all gone. We've also got little plywood spacers. We've cut all of them for the first 2 bays. We need to do them for all the rest, so that needs to be done. And then, because obviously we're cutting all these boards, we then have raw cut edges, so I'm having to paint all of those cut edges we're using like PVA Gorilla Glue, just to make sure that all the plywood that we're using, all the buffalo board edges, everything is sealed, so it's protected. So taken a lot of our time this week and it's been hard to film, but we are almost there, which is really exciting. We haven't actually secured any of the buffalo boards down yet, and we keep saying we're going to, and then we keep realizing that we can't, because we were going to do the ones at the front of the bus, except we realized that that's where the diesel heater is. And as you can see, we're trying really hard to fix the diesel heater and get that up and running, so that that is something that I can use in the bus, and we can get a new control unit for it, and we can also mark where we want the vents to come up from the floor. So we can't secure any of the buffalo boards down at the moment, because at the front, because that's where the diesel heater is and we need to get to that. We also can't secure any of the buffalo boards down at the back of the bus, because we're still waiting on one of the water tanks to arrive, and we still need to install those. Yeah, obviously easy to do that from the top when we have no floor in. So we're prepping everything so that as soon as we get those two things done, the floor is basically, everything is cut. It's literally a case of put it in place, glue it, drill it, you know, screw it, foam it, insulate it, get the top boards down, put those in, and like the floor is done. So we are, I was gonna say, ahead of schedule. Jerry thought that it would take us to the end of this month to get the floor down, and I think he may actually still be right, but I think we'll have everything prepped, and it'll just depend on how long it takes us to do the actual fixing of the water tanks. The other thing that was really exciting today was that Simon came round with his multimeter, and he's got a very good brain for electrical things and fixing things, and he spent some time with the diesel heater, and we are very, very excited. You know, the excitement that we had last week that then didn't happen has now reignited this week, because it turns out that the diesel heater is the model that Jerry thought it was, which is a very, very good model. Very good quality, I think he said they're over £1,000 new, so that's what this one is, which is amazing. It doesn't work currently, and Simon's had a good look at it, and we've realized that we don't think it's an electrical issue because we have power going everywhere, but we think it might be the pump has seized, and the pump is what pumps the diesel from the main diesel tank that runs the bus into the diesel heater. So tomorrow we are hoping, because we need to wait for the WD-40 to unseize all the bolts to take it all apart, but tomorrow or over the next few days we're going to actually try and take that diesel heater apart. We might need to replace the pump, which should be fairly straightforward, as well as, you know, look and see if we can service it, clean it, replace the filters. But that is a really, really, really big win. I'm pretty confident we can get it working again, and it's, even if for some reason we can't, we'll be able to find someone that can, because these are really good quality products made in Germany that you can still find on the market today. So that is a big win for this week. So the bus is in a little bit of a state of disarray. There's just bits everywhere, and I need to label all of these boards that are in and out, and I've just got bits of materials everywhere from where we've been working. So I'm just going to take a bit of time now and tidy and clean and organise, and hopefully tomorrow I can do a little bit of, I still have to paint the chassis at the back of the bus, and there's still insulating on the walls and the ceilings that needs to happen. So Jerry's not here for a few days, so I might crack on with those things so that everything is ready for when he comes back on the weekend and we finish up all these boards. Morning. I have come over to the bus quickly this morning to just do a couple of little jobs. The first one, good old WD-40. We're going to try, and I say we, Simon and I, are going to try and get the diesel heater unbolted from the chassis so we can get it on the ground, so we can take the pump apart, we can take it all apart and see if we can bring it back to life. But all the bolts are a bit seized, so gave it some WD-40 last night, gonna do some more this morning, and then hopefully by this afternoon things will shift a bit. The other thing I want to do that I keep forgetting to do every time I come over is I need to start taking some measurements, and I'm talking about measurements for how much flooring I need to order, and also you'll remember back from right at the beginning of this journey when Laurie and I installed the privacy film. It's all gone on really well and I'm actually really happy with it. But there are 2 windows that have bubbles or creases in them and they just need to be redone. So I'm going to measure those because I'll order some more privacy film and we're going to redo those, because at some point soon when we get all the insulation finished we can then put the window surrounds back on, and that's just another big part of the walls done. But I keep forgetting every time I come to take all the measurements of these things I need to order. So today, this morning, WD-40 measurements, then I got to go and work, and then this afternoon, evening, I'll come back and do some more. One of the jobs that I'm doing today is I've just taken up all the buffalo boards from the second bay. That's them all stacked up here, and one of the things I'm doing is actually just labeling them because they do go in a specific order. And the reason I've taken them up and I'm labeling them all is because, as you can see, we have all these cut raw edges and I need to seal them before we actually install them for real, just so that they are protected. So my job today is, as far as I can, hopefully I'll do it all. But yes, so this is bay 2. Those are all the pieces from bay 1. They need to be labelled. But I'm going to do one bay at a time so I can put them all back after. So I've got a floor to stand on, and then obviously there's ones under here, there's ones there. We did quite a lot yesterday. So one of the jobs for today is to try and get them all up, seal them all, put them all back, which will be very helpful. So I've got all my buffalo boards leaning up around the bus and on my little painting station here, and I managed to remember to label all of the boards so I know where they go. And now there's no excuse but to paint the rest of that chassis, and then tomorrow all these boards can go back and they are ready to be installed on Sunday where we can. I'd say that's pretty successful. I've painted the back half of the chassis now, that's looking nice and clean, and I've managed to get all of these buffalo boards in the back here sealed and all the ones in the front 2 bays sealed. There's just one bay that I'm standing under that needs to be sealed. So I would say I'm in pretty good stead for when Jerry comes back on Saturday, and actually I'll probably get a bit more time to work on it Friday, so maybe I'll do some insulation, who knows, but pretty happy with that. Can't believe that we really are moving forward. We're getting really close to getting this floor in, and to be fair, I'll be really happy when it's done. I think I'm a bit sick of the floor now. Well everyone, I am going to leave you there for this week. It has been it's been quite a busy week. I feel like we've put a lot of hours in, done a lot of thinking. I think maybe that's why I'm knackered. Maybe my brain hurts from thinking how we're going to do things and doing them properly. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It feels like doing things properly and doing things well just takes that little bit of extra time. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I think we're at and what we've been doing, which I'm really happy about. I'm really excited to see the buffalo board, that kind of flooring come together, and I think the next few weeks are going to be really exciting because material's going to start coming, and once we get the diesel heater sorted, we get the water tanks in, the floor will go in so quickly. So yeah, we've got a few more big weeks coming up, but I don't think it'll be long before we're starting to frame out the furniture for the interiors, which is just mad. It feels like at that point things are starting to come together, so really excited. Before I let you go for this week, I wanted to show you one last thing, and basically to say thank you for all of your feedback last week on the floor options and finishes, and let me show you where I'm at with that right now. here is my pretend mood board. So I have gone for option, I don't know if this was 1 or 2, the more yellowy floor option, which actually wasn't the one I liked the most, but in fact when paired with everything else actually looks the nicest. So let me take you through what's happening here. This is going to be the floor for most of the front of the bus. This is like a sort of rubber. This is going to be the floor for the garage area, the back of the bus, but also because I thought the comments that some of you left me were really smart. The cab area is probably a really high traffic area. You track a lot of stuff in, and so that thin vinyl black and white, as much as I liked it, it was never going to last. So new strategy, this stuff is also going to go on all the stairs, so that this is what you track mud onto and can be easily cleaned. And then potentially, this isn't made, you know, in stone yet, this is a much thicker hard wearing vinyl, and this might go in the top bit of the cab area around the captain's chairs. I like it. It's got all the right colours in it. I'm not sure if I love it, so we might keep looking, but I have seen something where the cab area is like a big bright pattern and it looks amazing, so I really do want to see if I can try and do that. These are a couple of fabrics that I found that I really like. I'm not 100% sure if these are the ones I'll end up using or what I would use them for, so obviously I'm going to need to have fabric for the sofa cushions, and also it's going to be lots of curtains for all these windows and things, but I also really like stripy fabrics as well. So but this is kind of the color palette for the bus, and then finally this kind of lovely sagey green color is actually going to be the color for the kitchen cupboards. So all the kind of top cupboards are going to be white, but this will be the whole sort of kitchen. And now I haven't got a sample of a countertop yet. I did get 3 laminate samples of possible kitchen countertops, and I don't really like any of them, so I'm going to keep looking. This is probably the close, well, I want this look, like the butcher block look, but that's a walnut and it's a bit dark. I like this sort of colour, although it's still a little bit yellow. If I could have sort of butcher block, similar variations of this, that's what I'd like, but we'll see. I'm going to keep looking. So discard all of those things, but these are the start of the kind of interiors. And you saw that I did some measuring the other day. It's because I'm going to go ahead and order this and this, because before we know it, it'll be time to install them. So good to have them. Anyways, thank you for following along. Thank you for your comments. Feel free to leave comments on all of this. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Any suggestions of places I should shop? Yeah, keep them coming. I hope you all have a fabulous week. Thank you for liking, for subscribing, as always, sharing. I hope you enjoy. I put out one little short this week. There's a few more coming out in the near future, so I hope you guys are enjoying those. And yeah, see you next week.